Very controversial, I know, but we're all adults. We have to discuss these things, right? Many people say sex and lovemaking with someone you love, and I use that word with a lot of caution. Romantic love does not exist. But let's say you believe in it. They say that sex with the person that you love is so much different than sex with someone, let's say, that you have arranged for in an exchange for something else, an escort or whatever. It's different because they love you. But I ask you this: if that person that you thought loved you, when the relationship ends, they move on to somebody else, and they are with the same intensity in a love relationship, so-called love, with someone else, and you realize that all those times that you were with them, it was just an act. It wasn't real love, obviously, because real love doesn't end. Then you tell me, what is the difference? What is the difference between making love with someone who supposedly loves you and having sex with a person you have arranged to have sex with in exchange for something of value? You tell me. I'm not taking any sides. I'm not suggesting anything. I want you to be the judge. Maybe when you put your head down on a pillow at the end of the night, or when you're alone having a coffee, staring into the blankness and thinking. You tell me at the end, when it's all said and done, what is the difference? Someone that said they love you, mostly women say this, well, it's different because sex with a let's say a professional is mechanical, whereas sex with me is like love making. Okay, then when that relationship ends and you move on to someone else with the same intensity and you're quote unquote loving them, what am I supposed to think our time together was? Was it anything more than mechanical? Because you were acting out for the benefits that you were receiving, and when those benefits ended, you moved on to somebody else. Or you moved on to nobody. Doesn't make a difference. But it was for the benefits. Absent those benefits, those supposed love makings would have never happened. It would have been mechanical, just like the one people pay for. So that is the question. You ask yourself, you be the judge. It's all an illusion in our heads, is what I say. That's why it's important to separate reality from illusion. That's why it's important to look at things as they are and not as we want them to be or as we would like them to be. In these days, in these current times, people call it red pill. But red pill, as we know it today, has been around for centuries. Some of us understand, some of us are able to separate delusion and illusion from reality, and some of us just simply either don't know any better or we choose to delude ourselves because fantasy is so much better than a reality. There was a prisoner one time that was interviewed, and they say, how do you cope knowing you'll never get out, with no possibility of parole ever? How do you cope? He said, it's very simple. I have learned every day to drown myself in an ocean of illusion, and I completely block out what is the reality of my life, which is so painful and so dark, and I live in the fantasy of every day a different one. I am living on a travel with a woman. I am going with friends to have coffee. I am sitting alone in my house watching TV, watching sports, whatever. Anything, but the actual dark, cold reality. And that's how some people choose to live their lives, even though they're not behind bars. I say face reality, because in the end it will be a much sweeter life, and you are not living in delusion and a lie. All the best.